Welcome to this week's Teaching Raid live stream, coming to you from Sarlona. This week we're going to be doing Defiler of the Just in Amrath. If you've never joined us for these events before, these are public events that we've been hosting for 5 years. Me and my guild, the High Lords of Malkir, on Sarlona, where we take in raid newbies and we show them how the raids work. And sometimes we get people who are new to the game. Sometimes we get people who are brand new to raiding. Be lots of first timers to the raid. And sometimes we get people who are longtime veterans who just, maybe just don't know the raid that we're doing and they want to learn it. Maybe they're coming back from a long break, or maybe they just never got to learn this particular raid. And anything and everyone in between. And we're not trying to make these folks experts at the raid. We're trying to give them a basic level of competency so that they feel comfortable maybe joining a pug and having a decent idea of what's going on. If you're on Sarlona and you're interested in joining these events, I always post details in the Sarlona forum on DDO.com. Different raid each week. So if you're new to the raid, or even if you've done the raid a few times and you're still learning it, you're welcome to sign up. It's a sign-up kind of event. To sign up ahead of time just by sending me an in-game mail. And we try to, in a very relaxed, low-stress environment, show them how these raids work. Teach them how they work mechanically. And we usually do a lower difficulty so that the newer folks don't have to stress about dying. A lot of times we get people who are very new to the game or very new to raiding, or people that maybe were soloing the whole time, or don't have much experience grouping with others or in raids, and so some of these raids can beat up these first timers pretty bad. Even though we're just doing normal on this one, and to an experienced raider normal is very easy, but to somebody who's new to the game or new to raiding, they can get beat up pretty bad. So we try to keep it nice and chill, so they don't have to stress out, and they can just worry about, or they can just focus on learning what's going on. So I'm going to take a few minutes to get folks that are signed up in here. Everybody who's in the party right now is my guildies to help out. Every week I usually fill the party with about half my guildies just to help make things a smooth run. Everybody here knows, we've done this raid in guild, I don't know, hundreds of times maybe. So they know it well, and they're here just to check my work. If I say anything wrong, they'll correct me, or if I can't answer questions of the newbies, especially if the newbies have melee oriented questions, what's the DR for this, I don't know. I don't play melee, so that's why they're here. Okay, I'm gonna get the newbies in here. So if you're watching the live stream, you have probably at least 5 minutes to go grab a drink or something before the action gets started. Who forgot to turn in his end reward? Oh, I just did this on Friday. Last night. So I'm gonna have to use a timer. Hey, Larinar, welcome. Hey, Stein, welcome. Welcome, Haladria. Welcome, Angry Tiger.
Hello, thank you.
I see the pet of a person who's signed up, but I don't see the person. Oh, there's Sahaga. Hey Sahaga, welcome. Hey Iktumi, welcome. Sorry he's running a few minutes late there, guys.
Hello, everyone.
Looks like everybody is here. There's not really anything special ahead of time. I guess there are some curses in here, so make sure you have remove curse pots. And there's also some, you can get some stat damage, so if you don't have a way to get to, like, cure stat damage, you know, like, you ought to have, like, lesser resto pots with you at all times. But if you don't have those, I would recommend taking a few minutes to pick up some of those. Neutralize poison. You're going to get poisoned in here too. And maybe even diseased. Just that, I mean, these are standard potions. Hopefully all you guys know, but maybe not, you know. Some people don't know to carry these kinds of potions with them at all times, but I'm a big advocate for, you know, lesser restoration, remove blindness, neutralize poison, remove disease, cure, remove curse, all times, every tune. So please take a few minutes to get those, and really that's all you need before we step in. Hey Randy, welcome to the live stream. Iktami, have you joined one of our teaching rate events before?
Yes, one time.
Was it on that tune or another tune?
It was the same one.
Okay, it must have been a while ago.
Okay, it must have been a while ago. It was the Chain of Trade. I forget the name. A couple weeks back.
Oh, okay, Lord of Blades and Master Artificer.
That's it.
Oh, you're Hisi. Okay, that's right. I didn't realize that was your alt at first.
Yeah, that's right.
You won second or first runner up in our costume contest last Halloween.
Yeah, that was fun.
Okay, now I gotta ask because I've been curious. Were you going for the look of, I can't remember his name, but that dude from Game of Thrones, or is it just coincidental?
It was coincidental, and everything that I had for that costume was also just coincidental stuff that I sometimes wear.
That's funny. Well, it's a good look. It was a good look. I loved it. I loved the whole shaggy red-headed barbarian thing going on.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Um, I think it's Sahaga, but I may be because I can't see it every time it fires up. But somebody's got a voice-activated mic that's picking up some background noise. So if you have a voice-activated mic, I would prefer that you put it on push to talk for this event, so it's not picking up keyboard sounds and televisions in the background and whatnot. So everybody here has been to a teaching raid before, so just some of you more than others. So just want to remind you that if you have any questions at any point in the raid, please ask. Don't hesitate to interrupt, otherwise I'm just going to keep explaining things. And we are just going to be doing a epic normal. So if you need to pause your bravery bonus, go ahead and do that now. You got a minute to do that.
This quest is notoriously difficult to do on higher difficulties, but it ain't due to the difficulty alone.
Yeah, this raid it's easy to fail this raid. This is not a raid that you can power through.
You know the nearest place I can pick up those potions?
I don't know if there's a potion vendor here.
There is, but you have to talk with our arcane vendor and then ask for potion. your potion.
Okay, in the north, like all the way in the north. I'm glad I said that. Those are great potions to have starting at level 1 on every tune.
The only relevant ones they have are the curse and poison, but that should still be enough to get you through this. You're gonna have the lesser rest, so you'll have to go to the market for that.
You can just say something and I'll talk to this restoration.
Hey, Pup Pup. Welcome to the live stream. Yeah, we've got a few warlocks here. Also want to remind you guys that I am live streaming this event, so every week we are usually joined by folks from other servers who are learning right along with us and asking questions live, which is really cool. We've been live streaming these for a couple of years, and it's the kind of thing where there's not going to be very many people watching. It's just a couple dozen people probably at any given time. There's just 6 people now, but probably get a few more joining us. Okay, guys, whenever you're ready, go ahead and step into the raid. Talk to Malene. She is the raid entrance. Don't move when you step in. It can aggro trash in the first room, which normally would be fine, but for purposes of this event, I want to wait. If there's somebody that doesn't have lesser restoration potions and wants some, I can... Oh no, wait a minute, mine are bound. Never mind. But having a way to cure stat damage is really, really important. Unfortunately, lesser restoration pots don't do a whole lot in Reaper mode. They're still definitely useful to have because they can still remove conditions like exhaustion, for example. But when it comes to removing stat damage, because of the way damage dice are calculated in Reaper mode, they are done as like a fraction of what they normally are. Lesser restoration pots, more often than not, don't cure any stat damage. If you're lucky, they might cure 1 point 25% of the time. I don't know the exact mathematics of it, but you pretty much have to have something else like greater restoration or heal, for example, or panacea. Yeah, those work great.
Yeah, there's also restoration pots available in the necropolis. If you run Necro 1 and you spawn collectibles, you can get them that way.
Okay, looks like we're still missing Ictimi.
Oh. Disease or lesser restoration. Should I actually take the time to go run somewhere and get them?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. You can get them right there in the market. If you teleport, it should be real easy to get them. But yeah, go for it.
Okay.
And in the meantime, I want to know who here has never done this before, or if you've done it a few times and are still learning. And I also want to know, for the folks watching the live stream,
I've never done it, neither has Salandria.
I want to know what server you're from and if you've done this raid before.
I haven't either.
Okay, I'm going to take the people that we're going to be splitting up into 4 teams, and so I'm going to take the people who are totally new and stick them in my corner. So keep a close eye on you. And for the people that have at least tried it before, I'm going to put you with my guildies. So I'm going to take a minute to type in corner jobs. Hey, the MVP, welcome to the live stream. Sahaga, did you say you're totally new to this?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Totally new.
Okay. Once we get into the main part of the raid, we're going to be splitting up. It's like a big zone, a big rectangular shaped zone. And I'm going to be sticking everybody in corners. And the reason why we do a corner method in the High Lords, and you're not going to see this from you might not see like Pugs do this. Pugs might just be run around hoping that enough people know the raid that know what they're doing to get it done, which is not a good method for this raid. There are like random spawns, which I'm going to explain details of more, but there are spawns that happen randomly around the zone, and we need to kill them really quickly. So we need to be able to find them as quickly as possible. And by having people in the corners, you can pretty much see the entire zone at all times. So like as soon as these random mobs spawn, whoever can see them when they spawn will call it out, like, northeast corner, so that others can help. That's why we split into corner teams. And once Ictomy gets in, I'll start explaining things more. If you are watching the live stream and you are a subscriber to my channel, you may have gotten a notification that I was live streaming last night and wondered what the heck. Some of you may have checked my channel, because once in a while I do unscheduled live streams. But that was an accident. I posted a comment, hopefully you saw it. We're actually doing videos of my next video series, and I had the video recorder open. The start recording button is right next to the start streaming button. And a couple times now, since I've started using OBS, I've clicked start streaming by accident instead of start recording. So last night that's what happened. I clicked start streaming and then quickly hit stop streaming. But as soon as I click that, a notification goes out to all my subscribers, or at least the ones that are set to get notifications. Are you almost in, Ictomy?
Yeah, I'm back in Chevrolet. Just got run over.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, I'm a little slow.
Oh, it's okay. These events are for you, man. So I'm taking all the first timers in my corner, and then the couple folks that said they've done this before, I'm sticking you with my guildies. We don't even need to buff yet, actually, because I want to explain things for a minute. Actually, you know what? We can buff. It's what we'll do is we'll clear the trash out, and then I'll explain. If you're not aware, there is an environmental effect in Shavrath, so that you like automatically have greater heroism. I'm not sure that the fear of the remove or the immunity to fear effect though is in effect with the environmental effect, but other than the remove fear portion, it is okay. So there's not really any need to.
It is not.
It is not okay. So it's not as big of a need to
For
cast
safe
GH.
versus fear, not immunity.
But I always cast it anyways because it's on my buff bar and I don't even think about it. But wanted to mention. So in these first two rooms, there's just gonna be some trash. A lot of times, this trash right here in the first room will aggro on the group like right away. Like if somebody moves or has maybe like a aura of menace or something, or just people, just get started right away. The raid does have a lockout point, but it's not quite yet, so it's safe to like kill this stuff. So there's just some devils here, and in the next room when we go up the ramp, there's some tieflings that are firing ballistas at us, and then we're just basically gonna go like basically after we kill the first two rooms of stuff, we'll stop, and then I'll explain how the next part works. So let's go ahead and move forward and kill some trash. Now, you used to be able to fire these ballistas at your friends, but last time it didn't seem to want to work. Oh, it does still work. Okay, so you can actually activate the ballistas, and as your friends are coming up the ramp, you can shoot them. Doesn't do a heck of a lot of damage, but it's funny. Go ahead and go up the ramp and stop where I'm stopped at this door that's already open.
Oh, right.
Oh, it's fine if you go ahead. In fact, all the High Lords go ahead and assume the position, but everybody who's new can stay here. So there's going to be an ambush once we all step into the next room. And the raid will lock. This door in front of us will come up, and it won't come down. Once we're all past this door, it will never come down. So people joining the raid late they can technically enter the raid, but wouldn't be able to get past this gate. So usually somebody will stand right here until everybody's in, and then once everybody's in, then you can proceed. So hopefully you can see that there are Shavrath blades whirling around the room in front of us. Does anybody not see them? There's like a dozen of them. There is a bug that once in a while you don't see them. It happens to me maybe 5% of the time. But even when you don't see them, they are there, and they will chew you up. And I don't really have a good suggestion for you to move through them. You just gotta kind of quickly and as self-sufficiently as possible navigate through them, and there is a safe spot on the other side of the big column in front of us. There's a gate on the other side, just kind of like here, except the gate is up there.
It's basically a clean room setup.
And about a body length away from that gate, there's like a safe lane where the blades, they never pass. So right now, if you look on the map, you can see all the High Lords are over there in one, like piled on top of each other. And that's what we're going to do in a minute here. We're just going to go over there and pile on top of that spot. That way the blades won't hit us. And as soon as we're all past this gate, it's going to trigger an ambush. There's going to be a pit fiend, like Eritricos from the Shroud, big red dude. And there's going to be some other devils, and I think maybe like some hellhounds and maybe even some tieflings. I can't remember, but it'd be a whole bunch of trash. Now, I will say that historically this room has been terribly laggy. I mean, would just lock right up more often than not, and it would be the kind of thing where you just have to like mash your heal button and mash your, cleaves or whatever and hope you were alive by the time everything was dead. It was that bad. But ever since they, shortly after Ravenloft came out, there was that hitching problem, and at once they fixed that, this raid has seemed to be a lot less laggy. I don't know if it's related, but more often than not, we don't see any lag in this raid, or even in this ambush room, which used to be the absolute worst part for lag for this raid. I mean, the lag was so bad that when this first came out, they went through several iterations of making changes to this raid to try to fix it. They changed the number of spawns. They changed how devils teleport because they thought maybe that had something to do with it. They changed the layout of the raid. And after so many changes to this raid, they finally basically threw their hands up and said, like, the raid's broken. We're not doing anything more for it. That's how bad the lag was in this raid. But, and it was also so bad that we couldn't do it. And, we do this at least weekly in Guild. We used to do it more than that. But, it's a few years old now, so a couple years old. But we gave up on doing it on Epic Elite because, like, we would just lag out so bad every time, so we were just doing hard every week. But we actually got my first Epic Elite completion last Friday night during our Friday Night Raid Fest public event, which includes this raid. So if you didn't know about our Friday night raid event, it's a public event. We do Mark of Death, Defiler, Just, Riding the Storm out every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. I post to LFM. So join us for that if you're interested. But yeah, we did Epic Elite last Friday night, which was really awesome. And we really didn't see any lag, maybe just like a touch of lag for like a second, but that was about it. Or it was very minor if we did. Okay, so the lag's gone, hopefully. So we're going to all go in here. Yeah, you're right, Lyranar. There was some lag in the end fight. I'd forgotten about that. And they actually had a lot of deaths because the boss does this massive AoE attack. It just like one-shots most people. But we persevered. Yeah, it was awesome. Okay, so once we all get past this gate, the ambush will activate. So we're going to kill all that stuff. Once everything is dead, then the gate will come down, and there's going to be 2 Abishai Executioners. There's other kinds of Abishai in here, so the Abishai Executioners are black. That's the easiest way to, and plus they're named Abishai Executioners. But that's the easy way to spot them from afar, I suppose. And Abishai Executioners are one of 2 different types of mobs that basically there's more or less a time limit. Well, there is a time limit on executioners. You have to kill them really quickly. It's about a minute. I think it's a minute 20 seconds. And if you don't kill them in time, and there'll be a little timer in the upper right hand corner in the quest box to counting down. If you don't kill them in time, you lose an Archon. Now, thematically, what's happening is like the devils and the Archons are battling above us, and like and the Archons are like falling out of the sky in defeat, right? And you'll actually see them during the raid. Like they'll appear on the ground and there'll be like a light beam on them. And it's like the executioners are sent here to finish them off. So we have to find the executioners and kill them before time runs out. So this is one failure mode of the raid. That if we don't kill the executioners fast enough, when we lose 5 Archons, the raid auto-fails and kicks us out. And this is one of the things, like I said earlier at the start, you can't power your way through this raid. You have to be coordinated, know what you're doing, and find these Archons and kill them fast enough. Just DPS isn't enough. You got to have communication and know where to look. Now, the first 2 executioners will be right there on the other side of the gate once we finish the ambush. But after that, when we take our corners, they're going to basically spawn in more or less random spots. I mean, there are designated spots where they can spawn, but there's a whole bunch of them. And once we kill the Abishai there on the other side of the ambush, after that is when we will all go to our corners. And I'll type that in again so you can see. When we're in our corners, there's like a ramp, and we're all going to hang out like at the sort of the bottom of the ramp, but on the ramp itself, not on the floor, because there are Shavroth blades roaming around the floor of the main zone. And we generally want to stay off the floor so that we're not getting tore up by those blades. So whenever we get Abishai spawn, if you have to leave your corner, we're always going to basically fight Abishai on the bottom of the ramp nearest where they spawn, off the floor so we're away from the blades. But Abishai executioners have a very, very short leash, so you can't just drag them over to wherever you are. Like I said, you basically have to go to where they spawn, and then the safest spot is generally bottom of the ramp nearest where they spawn. Just pull them to that point, and everybody will gang up on them then. There is one more kind of mob that can cause a failure condition, and that is the reinforcements. Unfortunately, there's no good way to tell a reinforcement from the other trash mobs. There's endless trash mobs in here that spawn. So the reinforcements don't have like reinforcement in their name. Some of the reinforcements only will ever spawn as reinforcements. Like you'll sometimes get pit fiends and horned devils. If you see a pit fiend or a horned devil, that's always a reinforcement. But reinforcements always spawn from these portal rooms. There are 2 portal rooms, one in the south and one in the north of the zone. But they can be pulled out of there. They don't have a short leash like the executioner, so if they get pulled out of the rooms, it can be hard to tell them from the others. But reinforcements, when they enter the zone, like in the upper right-hand corner in the quest box, it'll say like reinforcements, it'll say how many are there. So we'll know when they spawn because it'll say so in the box up there. If the number of reinforcements in the zone ever reaches or exceeds 12, it auto-fails the raid. Boom, you're done, it'll say fail, it'll shoot you right out. So there are 2 failure conditions in this raid that if you hit it, you're gone. And that's the reason why, like I'm saying, like you can't power your way through this raid. You have to be coordinated. You have to know what to do and when to do it. And then, kill stuff as fast as possible once you get to wherever it is. I can't emphasize enough, like I said, that the Abishai executioners have a very short leash. So this is one of the mistakes that people who are new to the raid make, is they start pulling the Abishai executioners too far. And if you pull them too far, they white dot out, and then they reset. And since you have a time limit on killing them, you can't afford to have your Abishai executioners resetting to full health. You really need to be on it. And this is something like if you join a pug raid and you start pulling executioners all over the place, like that's the kind of thing that's going to get you yelled at. So as I've said many times in the past, one of the reasons why we do these teaching raid events is so that when you join a pug, you don't get yelled at. You know what to do. So bottom line is, don't pull the Abishai executioners all over the place. Take them to the bottom of the ramp nearest to where they spawn. That way they won't white dot. Those are the only mobs in the whole zone that white dot out. All the other mobs, the trash, the reinforcements, can be pulled anywhere. When we fight reinforcements, generally, we like to fight them in front of the portal. And the only significance of that is just that it's a rallying point. Everybody knows where to go. The casters know where to put their AoEs, etc. So otherwise, if you don't have sort of coordinated plan like that, people might just be running all over the place fighting reinforcements in 3 or 4 different spots in the room. And it's better if you just bring them together. Healers can throw their heals there. Casters can throw their AoEs there. Melees can cleave there, etc. But, if you got one archer that's dragging something in a big circle around the room, and another melee's fighting one off in the corner, and the caster's got theirs over there, and, everybody's split up, then that can just really just make things take longer. And like I said, if you ever reach 12 or more reinforcements, it fails. So you can't afford to take forever to kill the reinforcements, because that'll fail it too. Now, I will say that there is a typo. It says 15 reinforcements in the quest box. It says failure 15 or more reinforcements. It's actually 12. When this raid first came out, it was 15, but that was one of the changes that they made, because they used to spawn in groups of 5 or 10, but now they spawn in groups of 4 or 8. If it's 4, it'll be 4 at the north or 4 at the south. If it's a group of 8, it'll always be 4 in the north and 4 in the south. The nutshell of this raid is that it's really just about finding and killing shit as fast as possible. And so, what's going to happen is once we get past the ambush room and we're all in our corners, when ambush executioners spawn, we'll call it out, northeast, and then like the north teams will go over there. Then they'll always spawn in pretty much always spawn in 2 pairs. So there'll be 2 ambush executioners in one location, 2 in another location. They'll just be called out. The north teams will help each other, the south teams will help each other, but the north teams will not go south and the south teams will not go north. There won't be a need for that. There's enough people on each end to cover stuff. When there's nothing going on, you just go back to your corner. So it's kind of like hurry up and wait. Hurry up and kill it, then go back to your corner. Hurry up and kill it, then go back to your corner. And it's just a good like little home base for everybody. And like I said, from those corners, you can see everything. You can see most of the zone.
Worse than a bloody traffic jam sometimes.
This raid has been likened to like a glorified Devil Assault, or maybe like a Shroud Part 1. So that part where we're like hanging out on the ramps and waiting for executioners to spawn and waiting for reinforcements to spawn, that's pretty much the whole raid. I mean, this ambush room is like a 2-minute, 1 minute thing. And then the end fight is like literally like a 1 minute thing. It's that main part where we're waiting for executioners to spawn, finding them as quickly as possible, killing them as quickly as possible, and then killing reinforcements as quickly as possible. We're going to go through like a dozen rounds of that, and that's going to be like the main part of the raid. And because it's basically timed, the executioners have to be killed within a minute 20. It's essentially a timed raid. So this raid, if normally only takes about 20 minutes. If it takes any longer than that, it's probably you're probably going to fail and get tossed out. So quickly again, nutshell is we're going to go on the other side here where the High Lords are, pile up in a pile, kill all the ambush mobs. Then we're going to kill 2 ambush executioners, then we're going to all split up into our corners. We're going to hang out at the bottom of the ramp, wait for ambush executioners to spawn, call them out, kill them as fast as possible. When reinforcements spawn, we'll know that because it'll say in the upper right hand corner. We'll go kill our reinforcements. We'll call out which end they're at. Whenever there's not something going on, you go back to your corner. It's kind of like Pac-Man too. See, I don't know if you know this or not, but the old school Pac-Man, the 4 individual ghosts were programmed to like monitor their corners if nothing else was going on. So we're going to be like those ghosts from old school Pac-Man. We're just going to like monitor our corners when there's nothing going on. Any questions before we get started?
No, I'm good.
When we get in a pile again on the other side, could we get some fresh masses? Because most of our masses are like half gone. But let's wait till we get on the other side. Okay, guys, like I said, just do your best to navigate over to the other side. Try to avoid the blades as much as you can. If you die, we'll just raise you on the other side. There's no death timer. Over here in the pile, like to me, you don't want to be against the gate. You're going to get hit by blades over there. But this is the part that historically like would lock right up. It would be at a standstill for sometimes up to a minute. If that gate doesn't come down as soon as the last mob is killed, it's just because there are some over here on the other side. I'll go grab them. Just stay right there. Sometimes when they spawn, they don't aggro on us. This is a spot where you know, traditionally there are usually a few deaths here. And that's just the way that it is. People die in the blades, people die in the ambush. Okay, 2 executioners. If you're a first timer, you're in my corner, follow me to the left. We got reinforcements north. Remember, fight them in front of the portal. We're just normal, so I can go with higher DPS options with my Bella warding and dual wielding instead of sword and board. Okay, now we go to our corners. In the northeast with me is Iktimi, Haladria, Stein, and Sahaga. In the northwest is Yao Lirinar. Southeast, Darkchild Menon. Southwest, Lemuria, Wooter, and Angry Tiger. So just to give you an idea, guys, in my corner of how short the leash is, if Abstract Executioners spawn in our corner, they would white dot out when they got right up here. Right where I'm standing right now. Even if they spawn right in our corner. That's how short the leash is. So don't, for example, like a lot of times you'll see ranged tunes standing up here. Real bad idea, because if they pull the Abishai Executioners up here, they white dot. If you're a ranged tune, like a better place to hang out is on top of this cauldron here. Okay, northeast to center. Northeast team.
I'm afraid I'm got lost.
It's okay, just go to the northeast of the zone and you'll see us. See this this Archon here and this light beam? That tells you the executioners are nearby, and here's one here. So the northeast team, come with me to the center. And we got 2 executioners here. I see it to me. You're in the right place now. Okay, our executioners are dead, so that Archon that's in that beam of light right there is going to get up and fly away. Now in the upper right hand corner it says reinforcements 4, which they're in the north. So we go to our portal room in the north.
Sorry, I went the wrong direction.
It's okay, just go to the portal room in the north. North center. Now there's nothing going on, so you go back to your corner. Another Archon has fallen. That's a message saying that they're spawning.
Copy.
Okay, northwest. So my team, we go and help our north friends over here. See the beam of light? You can look up and you can see it from, you know, it shoots really high. That's telling you where they're going to spawn. The Archon that they're sent here to defeat, to kill, is at the bottom of that light beam. And when you'll know you have both of your executioners dead when that Archon gets up and flies away. Nothing else going on. We go back to our corner. So, like I said, being in the corners is just about like covering as much of the zone as possible. So when those Archons spawn, we can call out right away. We got eyes on them right away. Where like if you join a pug, it might just be 12 people running around, you know, hoping that people find them. And, you know, if they're not in the right spot quickly enough, or people are dragging, you know, executioners all over the place, and they white dot, you know, then you might not kill them fast enough, and that can cause failure. Like I said, very easy raid to fail, even by experienced players, if they're not coordinated. If anybody watching the live stream has questions, let me know. My attention is focused on the folks here, but I'll be watching chat. Northeast to center.
Reinforcements north.
Kill the executioners first. Now remember, if you don't kill the executioners fast enough, the reinforcements were, they're dead. If you don't kill the executioners fast enough, you lose an Archon. And if you lose 5 Archons, it fails the raid. But sometimes, like if the number of reinforcements are getting out of hand, you might have to let an Archon go. Sometimes you have to make that choice. Like, everybody break off the Archons and focus on reinforcements because we can't let the reinforcements hit 12, otherwise we fail. So it can get pretty intense sometimes if you're in a low DPS group or a disorganized group. Once we clear this part of the raid, there won't be any sense of urgency for the end fight, or before the end fight. So I want us to all gather, and I want to just do a quick walk around northeast.
Copy.
But basically every corner is more or less identical. And when executioners spawn, if you don't see them in your corner, take a look out toward the center before you abandon your post. You see it says 4 reinforcements in the upper right hand corner, and they are north. Fight them in front of the portal. Just bring those right over to the portal, guys. I'll intim them off you. To me, you want to bring that guy over to the center. Looks like you got him taken care of, though. And back to our corner. Remember, hurry up and wait. Hurry up and kill it, and then come over in our corner and wait. It's like standing around in Devil's Assault waiting for the mobs to spawn. Except it's not all in one tiny room. But yeah, like from the bottom of the ramp, you can see, like, you can look out toward the center. You could see if like an executioner was like along the side there, or sort of on the bottom of the ramp over there. Northeast to center. Okay. Looks like we got reinforcements south, so north teams just go back to your corner. Oh no, they were dragged over here. Northwest. North teams go to the northwest. I'm asked, am I going to challenge R1 ROS rate? I don't know what that means. Oh, maybe that's a non-English speaking person. They're asking me if I want to join an R1 RSO. Notice the timer in the upper right hand corner. If that timer's still going, you know you got living Abishai somewhere. Reinforcements are in the south. See how there's... See, it says reinforcements 4 in the upper right hand corner, but we don't see them here in the north, so they must be in the south room. Well, I don't see an RSO, so I don't know what that person's talking about.
One thing to take note of in this class, there is no shrine that I'm aware of.
That's a good point. No shrine.
using limited use clickies like healing springs or primal screens, try to ration them a bit. You can't replenish them anywhere again.
That's a great point. Saves at least a little bit of burst damage for the end fight, because this you got to kill the boss really quickly. My team that's in the corner, I want you to come down here to the bottom of the ramp. I want to show you something real quick. Stay right here. I want you to look where I go in the center. See this little cubby right here that I'm standing in right now? The Abishai Executioners can spawn in this cubby, and they're really easy to miss when they're in that little cubby. So I just wanted to point that out, to look there before you leave your spot. We got reinforcements north and south. See, it says reinforcement 6. That's the number. If that reaches 12, and again, it says 15, but it's actually 12. If that reaches 12, we auto-fail. So that's why lag is so deadly in this raid, because if you have to kill stuff as fast as possible but you're lagged out, then you can't get to it in time, and then that'll cause one of those failure conditions. Hey Zaf, welcome to the live stream.
Executioner southeast.
Northwest.
Northeast to center. Pup, I don't really have time to explain my build during this live stream, but I do have a build post in the Warlock forums on DDO.com, and you can check out my build post there. I am definitely lower DPS than other Warlock builds because I am tanky. Reinforcements both sides. This build is designed to tank raid bosses. But I did make this build before Reaper mode came out, so I have no experience as far as I can think of with tanking like Reaper raid bosses. But it can tank like everything on Legendary Elite. But part of that, some of the higher end bosses would be more gear dependent, like Legendary Elite Swordjack is extremely tough to survive against. But I can do it now that I have this 5-piece opposition Legendary Green Steel set that gives me a lot of extra hit points. Okay, we see in the upper right hand corner it says Archons defeated 1, so somewhere we missed an Executioner. No big deal. You can lose 5 before you fail, so losing 1, I mean, in a pug it's probably pretty standard to lose 1 or 2. I don't know, I haven't enjoyed the pug of this raid forever, but I've heard stories. But Pup, I'm a Enlightened Spirit Warlock, which is like a bursting Warlock as opposed to a blasting Warlock, which is a ranged. You said you're new to Warlock, so I would recommend. I have a video called it's called How to Choose Your Warlock for Beginners, and it's like a Warlock orientation for people that are new to Warlock, and I go over like the different enhancement trees and like the gist of what Warlock is, and it's just, like I said, really designed for people who are new to Warlock and don't really know how it works. And it's like maybe a half hour, 45-minute video. You can just look it up on my channel, or it's also linked in my signature and all my forum posts. Actually, I think that's my most viewed video of all my videos, so I'm really glad that people have found that one helpful. And it's not about Warlock builds. It's not like, oh, these are the different kinds of builds. It's just going over, like, in general, like, here's what a pact is, and here's what you get for each of the packs, and here's what your decision should be about, and here's how the different trees operate, and here's a handful of enhancements that you want to make sure you don't overlook, and those kinds of things, demonstrating the different shape stances and stuff. So real basic stuff, but like if you're new to Warlock, I promise you're going to find it helpful.
The gate came up or down.
What's going on?
Gate cam.
Oh,
But like,
I'm sorry. Okay. I was describing something to somebody in the live stream, and I didn't even notice that we had gotten to the last. Okay, so this part's over, guys. Sorry about that. But I want all the new folks to gather in the northeast corner. The High Lords, you can just go to where the end fight is. And I just want to bring you guys around the zone so you can just, because some of you are first timers, and I want you to see the whole zone. That basically every corner is more or less identical. So like, your Abshai Executioners can spawn out here to the left or out in front. But just follow me. Earlier I was trying to point out this spot over here. Abshai Executioners can spawn like right in this little cubby. Very easy to miss, if you don't know to look right here. But you can see this spot from the corner. So that's what I was saying, like when they spawn and you don't see them in your corner, before you leave your corner, make sure you like look out here. If there's one here, then there's going to be another one nearby. And sometimes they can spawn up here in the center too. So you might get situations where like it's easy to lose track of them when you're doing the corner method if they spawn in the center. So you want to check center if nothing else is going on. Let's go ahead and come back down here. And go around the side. Be careful of the blades. Sometimes they can even spawn in these cubbies in the side. And this is like, even when we do our guild raids, we'll lose track of them here. They don't seem to spawn here on the side very often, but just know that like they can be there. And we've definitely lost Archons because the Executioners spawn there. And now we're in the southeast corner. Southeast corner, basically same thing. Look in the center before you leave. They would spawn out here in the corner as well. You don't want to pull them up. Like, you don't ever want to pull the Executioners up to right here. This is like basically we're going to white dot out. That's how short the leash is. So it's best, like I said, to fight them at the bottom of the ramp nearest where they spawn. If you're a ranged toon, do not, the temptation is to be right here, because ranged toons like to be able to see the corner and see the reinforcements. But a better place to hang out if you're a ranged toon is basically right up here on top of this cauldron, because they won't white dot out if you pull them here, but if you do pull them all the way up to the top of the ramp, then they can white dot here. So like I said, ranged toons like to be able to see the corner and the reinforcements. But the thing is, when the reinforcements spawn just by looking in the upper right hand corner in the quest box. It'll say how many reinforcements are in the zone. And if it says 4, then you just pop your head in here to see if they're there. And if they're not there, then they're at the other end. Then you let the other end take care of them. If it says 8, you're going to have 4 on each end. Alright, let's keep going around the zone. The south portal room is identical to the north portal room. Southeast or southwest corner, same thing. Bottom of the ramp, yada yada. Cubby on this side too. As far as I know, Executioners can spawn there too. That's the gate where we came in. Haladria just learned that these blades can hurt, which demonstrates why we stay off the floor. Generally, I mean, we're doing a little tour now, but that's why we stay off the floor when we're fighting Executioners, so we don't have to get tangled up in the blades. So the northwest corner, my team was over here when there was nothing going on our corner. Any questions about the main zone here before we go to the end fight? or any parts of the raid so far. The end fight's going to be over in 30 seconds once I explain it to you. End fight is super short. No, but I'm glad you asked that because there is a penalty if they die. If for every Archon that gets defeated, you get an Irenes, which is like the evil winged creature that appears in the end fight. Now they don't really do a whole lot; they just kind of fly around and pew pew. But if you had 4 Archons defeated, then you could have 4 Irenes, 4 more mobs to deal with in the end fight. You couldn't have 5 Irenes because if you ever got 5 Archons defeated, like I said, you auto-fail the raid and you get tossed right out. But you could have up to 4 defeated, creating 4 Irenes to fight, or that would be there in the end fight.
That also plays into the storyline of this raid. Basically, the big boss is using the codex page to convert the Archons into Irenes by force, and everyone you lose in here just furthers that.
I was wondering how that worked from a storyline. Iktimi, go ahead and head to the east. Yeah, there you go. Just go down the ramp and due south till you get to the opening. And then hang out right here. This is a lockout point. This door right here, a gate will come up once we get in there and the end fight starts. And then that gate will not come down until the raid is over. But it will come down, so if somebody didn't make it in there, like, it will come down once it's complete, but it won't come down until it's complete, so if somebody did get locked out, they wouldn't be able to help in the end fight. So this end fight should be over in about 30 seconds once it gets started. If it takes longer than that, there's a really good chance you're going to wipe. But not necessarily. So the way the end fight works is basically just 2 mobs. One, there's a big purple worm in the middle when we first get in there. And its breath weapon can be pretty painful even on normal. And it's going to shoot, there's going to be like an indicator telling you which way he's going to shoot his breath weapon. And there'll be like a neon green path on the ground. And that's going to be like, that's his tell, saying like, I'm going to shoot my breath weapon this direction in a few seconds. So if the breath weapon is problematic for you, then get the hell out of that little green area. So we want to kill the purple worm as fast as possible just to get it out of the way, because we don't need it attacking us when the boss finally activates. The boss will activate, I don't know, maybe 20 seconds after the purple worm appears, maybe 30 seconds. And the boss is an Irenes over there, that will be over there by the cave. And for every 30 seconds that the boss is alive, she's going to do like this AoE bombardment attack. Like a bunch of comet falls are going to come out of this guy and just like obliterate us. And like, it's going to one-shot a lot of people. If you have less than 1,000 hit points, it's going to one-shot you. And we're going to let that happen so you can see. Because I want you to see, like when these teaching raids, we don't just show you how to do it. But where possible, we want to show you what happens when something goes wrong. So that, like, if you're ever in a pug and this happens, you don't panic. Like, Voodoo didn't teach us this. I don't know what to do. I don't want that to happen. I want you to, be like, okay, I knew this was going to happen, and here's what we got to do now. There are some safe spots from that bombardment, and I don't know all of them, but I do know that on top of the cave, and you can like, so like a range tune might get up there, range tunes might get up there, and the bombardment doesn't seem to hit like right on top of the cave. And you can get on the cave just from the right side and go up there. There might be some other safe spots, maybe on like this cauldron on the left or something. I'm not really sure. Or if you have a lot of hit points, you can definitely survive it. I think it can be evaded. I'm not sure. I don't play evasion tunes. Does anybody know the answer to that question? I think it can be evaded, so if you had a high evasion tune, you should be alright. But ideally, you kill the boss before she does that, like within the first 30 seconds, because if those bombardments start coming out, things start getting really out of hand, because 1, you're probably going to lose most of your party. And 2, at that point, she starts spawning trash mobs, and they're very serious trash mobs, like pit fiends and horn devils running around, like a bunch of them. And when you've got 3/4 of the party dead and there's 6 pit fiends and horn devils running around, plus the boss shooting at you, it starts getting really crazy. Like I said, ideally you kill the boss before she ever even does it, and it's totally possible, especially on normal. I mean, when we did it on Elite last week, and it was like 3 or 4 of my guildies and the rest pugs, like we killed her. Well, it lagged out, so we did get the bombardment. But if it didn't lag out, we would have killed her before it. So the boss is actually not that tough. It's just that if for whatever reason she stays alive too long, it's her AoE attack is devastating. So I want you to see that. So I want to make clear we're not going to kill the boss. Don't take her past about 20%. Yeah, she was at a sliver. She was low. So 20-25%, then we stop DPS on the boss. But that's it. We're going to go in there, kill the worm, and then we're going to go kill the boss. The boss won't be active right away. You know, the worm will be first. We'll go over to kill the boss. Then it's over. But we're not going to kill the boss right away. We're just prep her to 20-25. Let her do a bombardment so you can see that. Some of you are going to die, but like I said, this is the time to learn that kind of stuff. Like, it's okay if you die in these teaching raids. Like, we want you to learn and see what happens. I guess one strategy, like if you do get to the point of the bombardment and all that trash is around, one thing that makes it tricky is because she's going to do that bombardment every 30 seconds. So recovering from it's really tough because, you know, by the time it passes and you figure out who's where and you start throwing raises, like she's doing it again. And what can really suck, you get a couple people up and then she just bombards again, killing them again. And so sometimes you might even want to wait, like if you do have survivable people, wait till the next bombardment and then throw raises right after that. So people aren't, raising right into the bombardment. But, I don't have any definite success tips for you. If you get to the first bombardment and she's not almost dead, then, you just have to do your best to try to hold it together, throw some raises. If she's close to being dead, maybe try to finish her off with a mini shot or something. But it can be really hard to recover from that point, but it's totally doable because of how historically laggy this raid is. I've certainly been in that position many times of having to recover from that. Having a Gibber's Blade is a huge way to recover raids. Okay, any questions about the end fight before we get started? Okay, let's go. Notice we got this Irene's minion here. This is because we lost an Archon. But we can ignore her and go to the Eudoxia over here. Remember, we're not killing her. 20%, then stop. I want her to do her bombardment. Stop DPS. You're going to see a bunch of targets on the ground, and that's telling you it's coming. It's pretty intense. Now you can see we got a bunch of trash to deal with, and she'll spawn even more. I didn't even see where she went. There she is over there by the start. You can just kill her now. And she does that. She'll do that AoE bombardment attack every 30 seconds or so from that point. But ideally, you kill her before she even does that the first time. Any questions before we loot? And grats on your first Defiler of the Just, guys.
Thank you kindly. Thank you.
Reminder that we host this as a public event every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. So if you're interested, love to have you. Just watch for the LFM. It's not a sign up ahead of time like the teaching raids. It's not that formal. It's newbie friendly. Like we'll teach first timers how it works, but it's not like as in depth as like our teaching raids. All right, one of the first timers, help yourself to the chest. Good luck. A lot of this raid's loot is sort of obsolete now, but there are still some items from here that are still worthwhile. Like the boots are great. I think that the boots of Blessed Travels are still the best freedom of movement boots for endgame in the game.
Reformation is also good for your plate pack warlock or a bard.
Yep, the sonic damage proc is real nice for spellcaster, especially sonic spellcasters. The trinket is still a really nice, it's got good luck +4. I think it's the only good luck +4 item in the game, and it's got heal amp too, so it can be still pretty nice. But it looks like we got skunked.
That's normal, it happens.
Okay, guys, that's all. There'll be another teaching raid. Actually, yeah, there'll be one next Saturday. I'm not sure what it is yet, but I'll post in the Sarlona forum. And don't forget to turn this in, and have a great night.
Thank you for hosting.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thanks a lot. Did another great job.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you could make it. See you guys.
Night.
Good night. Okay, folks watching the live stream, I'm going to shut down the video stream now, but if you have any final questions about the raid, I will be responding to questions in the chat. Let's see, there was a person who had questions about my build, so I'm going to talk about that. If Pup Pup is still here. Are you still here, Pup Pup? Okay. Maybe Pup Pup is no longer with us. So, alright, I'm going to go ahead and shut down the video feed, and if you have any final questions, just write them in chat, and I'm still going to monitor the chat for about 5 minutes, even if the video is down. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys soon.